Mark Skaar on the Skaar Kaard on 103.7 The Fox, bringing in Stephen Shareaux from, well, right now, Zen From Mars. Stephen, hello, welcome.
Oh, thank you, Mark. How you doing, my friend?
I'm well. It's been about 3 years since I've seen you, so it's good to have you back.
Has it been that long? My God. Yeah, St. Cloud, red carpet, I believe.
Yes, sir. Heavy syrup project.
A little heavy syrup up there in the cloud. Yes, sir.
That was fun.
That was a good one, man. Yeah, Bryn Arns and myself and Chris Barrato and a local boy up there. I'm completely zoning out on his name, but I really love it.
Mr. Campbell.
Now, but yeah, thank you very much. Oh, my God. I'm like, it's like our boy there, and we did a little impromptu. I come into town. I'm from Minnesota, and Bryn and I will talk about, let's play a gig. And we're like, okay. So that's where we ended up that trip.
Yes.
Memory lane.
It was good. And so Zen From Mars, I was surprised when I looked back on this because I remember when the demo came out. This thing's been gestating for, 5, 6, 7 years, right?
I'm going to say it's about 6 years-ish, yeah, something like that. From the beginning of time when Drew first reached out to me through Facebook and whatnot and started sharing some music with me, and I was like, this is cool, and literally turned around. We wrote a lot of those songs pretty quickly. It was just a matter of, or at least demoed them up, and ironically, a lot of those arrangements and things you're hearing as far as just, arrangement-wise, haven't really changed. But as most things these days, you get more people involved and, just trying to, and then COVID and the way the whole thing kind of unfolded. I'm very happy at this point to be having this thing cross the finish line, let's just say. And I'm very excited about this record, quite honestly.
And Stephen, this thing has kind of turned into a little bit of a super group because there's known quantities beside yourself and Mr. Fortier and our mutual friend Bryn Arns for one.
Yes.
Chips Enough.
We got Chips Enough playing all the bass on it, yes.
Mike Heller
playing drums on it.
Who played with Drew in The Lucid as well.
They are currently doing the Lucid thing right now, which is fantastic. Yep.
It's a great album, yeah. And cool. Kate Catalina.
Yeah, her and Chip are a lovely pairing there, and we had her put some sprinkling of some keys on there, here and there, and it's fantastic, man. It was a great group effort.
Talking to Stephen Shareaux, and so the very first thing we heard, as I mentioned, was a demo called New Leaf, which I assume also appears on the record.
It is going to appear on the record as a bonus track.
Okay.
Yep, it will be on the record.
Very good. What can you tell me about that song?
The first song Drew and I ever wrote, he sent me this acoustic demo of it, and I think upon receiving it, I probably returned it back to him in about 4 hours. I don't know, maybe the next day, I was, wow, this is great. And conceptually, turning over a new leaf, I feel so alive. It's like, so fresh. For me, the perspective was, this is cool stuff. It's kind of musical relationship related, It's like, some good music to write to. Fantastic.
And it motivates you to do something almost immediately.
Yes, exactly. You're on.
The first thing we heard off of the forthcoming album proper is Intermission. Tell me about that song.
Well, it's kind of a mantra. It's this concept of kind of like just waking up that guy that wants to sit on the couch and watch TV all day, you know what I mean? Just and motivate you to get out and find your purpose, find your passion, find your what that thing is that moves you, and that's really it. I mean, that song, ironically, was kind of the cornerstone, the foundation of the whole record. I mean, this record's gone through a few incarnations, if you will. It had a different title for a period of time. And it was pretty much finished about 2.5 years ago. And then COVID hit, and then some other just kind of butting heads on sounds and mixes and this, that, and the other. And that's fine. I get it. But time passed, and now it's like it's free to be. And that song was kind of the biggest struggle within the whole. It kind of started the whole kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of a profound song for me personally, because like I said, it's the reason the whole thing, kind of slowed down, and then it's also now the reason, and it's become kind of the whole, idea behind, obviously, the title of the record. And I think it's just about, like I said, finding your passion and your purpose and getting there to the finish line, man. Finding your intermission, whatever that is.
Talking with Stephen Shareaux from Zen From Mars, and the record's coming out April 23rd.
Yes, sir. My mom's birthday.
Oh, nice. Happy birthday, Mom.
Yeah.
Who's releasing it?
KRM, Richard Easterling's label out of Colorado Springs.
I can't wait to hear the whole thing. I'm excited. So
it's. I'm going to tell you, personally, I think people are going to dig it. It's a pretty damn ambitious rock record, man. It's got the way it's sequenced and the way the song order and conceptually, lyrically, et cetera, et cetera. It's sonically. I'm very proud of it, and really, I think the music world needs it, man. Quite honestly, it's like just some rock. That was the statement I wanted to make with intermission as well. It's like I wasn't concerned about 3.5 minute, 3 minute single thing. I just wanted to put the rock out.
We're Stephen Shareaux, and for those scratching their heads going, I know that name, people will remember you from Kick Tracee, obviously.
Yeah, that's usually how they associate me. Guilty by association.
Yes, sir. And we mentioned Heavy Syrup. You guys, I think, demoed some stuff like right after that, maybe mid-90s, early to mid-90s?
Yeah. Bryn and I, KT broke up in 93-ish, something like that, and I remained with RCA for a period of time. They're like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, anyone you want to write with or kind of dream kind of thing? And I was like, matter of fact, there's this guy back in Minnesota named Bryn Arns, and so he was actually living in New York at the time. So I packed my bags and went to New York City, and Bryn and I we wrote about 4 or 5, maybe 6 songs in a few weeks. Went back to Minnesota, demoed them up with a band and some guys that he had knew, and it was a blast. It was I love the tunes, everything about it was fantastic. RCA was digging it, did another batch of songs, and then I don't know what happened, but it started to feel like a little like rebound relationshipy or something. I don't know what it was, but life has its weird little things. But I just kind of lost I guess I lost that intermission, if you will, to coin a phrase, kind of sense of purpose with it. And ironically, from that point, Bryn went on to do the Flip thing. Mm-hmm. I think with a couple of the guys who were demoing and playing with us, Cherry and Greg Item and et cetera. But it's funny how life goes like that way. Those songs are super near and dear. And like I said, whenever I go to Minnesota, he and I get together. We get in a room and we're always playing some Heavy Syrup, man. And decided that one time we'd go up and play it live up in St. Cloud. So that's kind of how it all went.
And, of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't talk to you about your 2 solo albums, Golden, which I loved.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. And your newest one, 2 years ago, Silver Linings. Yeah,
I managed to put a record out in the pandemic. Silver Linings was mostly a piano-written record that some songs I had just kind of kept playing with for a few months, and just felt the time was right to get that stuff down. And so I did, and went back to my trusty guy, Bernie Larson, who I did Golden with back in 2014, and that's crazy to say that, 7 years ago or whatever, 8 years, that's crazy. But and we knocked it out pretty quick, and put the thing out. So I think I'm probably gonna remaster, maybe remix a few of those tunes and reissue both those records on KRM. So note to self, probably do a little remaster kind of re-release.
That would be wonderful. And I think you had a track on there called Black Patience, right?
I do. Yes, I do.
Tell me about that one.
Black Patience. Wow. It's written from a relationship perspective. I think sometimes we find ourselves in situations waiting around for things that maybe never even existed. You know, that's kind of the root of it, and to a certain extent. Maybe it's people, things, expectations. I would say that pretty much sums it up. It's coming from a relationship point of view, and maybe having been in something or waited around for someone or something for a bit too long, and in the end it may have not ever even existed in the first place. So it's that dark hole of expectation, disappointment, let's just say.
I can relate to that. It's happened to me. It's probably happened to everybody one time or another.
Yeah, there you go.
If people want to keep in touch, and they definitely want to get the Zen From Mars record or anything else we talked about, what's the best way for them to follow along?
We've got, I think, any day now, the ZenFromMars.com is rocking. We've got a StephenShareaux.com for solo stuff. You can find me on all the usual social media stuff, although not my favorite places to reside, but admittedly, but nevertheless, you can find me there, and super appreciate people's continued support of the music. Continue to put out and make and, share with the world. And, yeah, baby, long live rock and roll.
Amen. Stephen, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure, Mark Skaar. I really appreciate it, too. Cheers.
For Stephen Shareaux, I'm Mark Skaar. This is a Skaar Kaard on 103.7 The Fox.